After hours of uncertainty, more than 3,000 civilians have been evacuated from the Syrian city of Aleppo. Another 50,000 people still remain there, and they could be transported from the area in the next 3 days. International relief agencies say most of the people need urgent medical help. Here's what some of the civilians had to say when they reached safety.
We were resisting in Aleppo for 5 years, and now we were made to leave. And those bastards over there are dancing. They also put Assad on their flags, and we were the ones made to leave.
Our brother, we lost him. The other one died recently, and we lost the first one and had to leave him and come. We are alone. We have no one to help us. May God destroy those who have caused this. For the sake of Muhammad, they displaced us.
I swear to God, it cannot be described. So many people were killed, and we couldn't even get to them to save them and bury them. No hospitals, nothing.
Abu Bakr al-Shamahi has been following developments from Gaziantep on the Turkish border with Syria. So we've just heard the voices of the civilians in terrible conditions out of Aleppo. Is it really the end of the suffering for those people?
Well, in terms of what Robert Marden, the regional director for the Red Cross, said, that he'd never, it's hard to believe how they'd survived Aleppo. And you've got to think this is over 150 days of siege. And you've also got to remember that although this is quite an organized departure, it's still a forced departure. These are still people who are being forced out of fear of what might happen to them to leave their homes and their property and most of their belongings, and that's reflected in the messages they've left behind, either to the cameras or on the walls of their properties and of the walls of their streets. Things like, these houses will be a reminder to the world of what happened here. And as for what comes next, most likely a lot of these people will be heading towards Idlib province, which is one of the last major areas of control for the rebels. But you have to remember that other evacuations have happened across Syria from rebel areas when they were taken by the regime to Idlib. And most of those people have been then greeted by airstrikes in Idlib itself. Idlib is still a target for the regime. They're still attempting to take it. And so even though they're heading towards a different area that may seem more safe right now than Aleppo, it may eventually end up being just as dangerous for them in the future.
So Abu Bakr, we know 50,000 people still remain inside. What will it mean for them? How's it going to play out?
Well, that's the thing. There are so many people still left inside. There are only a limited number of buses, around 15 of those green buses and accompanying ambulances. They're able to essentially do a shuttle service to take people in and out. And they're so overcrowded with the amount of people who are trying to get out in any way they can, people going on the aisles or just trying to get on those buses in any way they can. And it's you've got to remember that most of the people leaving now as well are civilians, and even with that being the case, we had the attacks that we saw on Thursday on the convoy. So although the last few convoys that have left have been relatively trouble-free, there's nothing to say that in the next few days we might see more issues concerning some of the convoys being attacked. And like I said, most of them are civilians. What happens when the fighters actually also begin to leave? Will they be given the same access to leave eastern Aleppo, or will they also be targeted by the regime or by militias on the ground who support them?
Thanks for the latest, Abu Bakr al-Shamahi, live from Gaziantep.